A Google patent was just revealed showing that they're working on a modular smartphone.
Yeah, Google's patent actually looks pretty cool. Some of the render drawings show that you can remove the stuff like the battery, the camera on top of the screen, the display. So this is in case, I guess, something malfunctions. So if like you get a crack in your screen, you can replace that. Or if your battery becomes defective, you can replace that. This could be something that could change the game. Apple kind of changed the game when they went away from that back in the day, when they went to everything being in-house.
Now, this isn't a new concept. Back in 2013, there was a phone company called PhoneBlocks, which released this concept of a modular smartphone. It showed one side of it was a screen, which you could replace, and on the back side of it were these sort of chip-like components.
Like Lego blocks.
Yeah, like Lego blocks that you could add on. Now, it's been 6 years since they first proposed this Kickstarter, which raised a lot of money, and it still hasn't really been developed.
This was like you could build your phone basically to each individual part. Like you could add a Wi-Fi chip, you could add a storage chip, you could add a flash to your phone. This, I think, is I think this is way too detailed. But I think what Google is trying to go with this patent is just like the main features, like the display, like the back of the phone, and then the top portion. It wasn't just that you could remove the camera, but it was like the top section that you could take off and replace that if need be.
Now, we have seen other companies also try something like this where they have attachments like the Moto Z, which has a modular camera attachment made by Hasselblad. Unfortunately, that camera did not perform well and the phone just kind of sucked. Also, the red hydrogen camera or cell phone is rumored to have a modular back to it as well. So
this is kind of cool how companies, and I guess we're specifically talking about Google here, they are kind of aiming towards the people who want to have an affordable device. So if you don't want a new flagship phone, you could just replace the screen of yours. We also did another video on the Pixel 3 Lite, and pretty much the main difference between the Lite and the 3 is pretty much everything except for the camera. And they're keeping the camera at the same quality as the Pixel 3, which I think is very cool. And a lot of people that don't want to spend the $1,000 that you would spend on a flagship phone would be more inclined to purchase a cheaper model with cheaper parts, except if the camera is very important to you.
Now, the only thing I could see being a problem is, one, this is a new technology. Modular phones are going to be expensive off the bat.
Probably, but do you think the parts to replace them are going to be expensive?
Yes.
Much more so than purchasing a whole new phone outright?
Yes.
Interesting. I think another thing you'd have to worry about with modular devices is waterproofing. Now, we know that most phones out there aren't waterproofing, but that's kind of the direction that these companies are going, trying to waterproof their phones. And if you have a modular device where you can remove and add parts, that's just going to make it that much more difficult to actually waterproof it.
In my opinion, I think this is a bit of a gimmick.
We do know that a lot of tech companies release and publish patents that don't actually come to pass. So maybe this is something that Google's doing, but hopefully if they do it, they make it pretty affordable, pretty cheap for the average user, and make it pretty successful.
Well, those were all the rumors that we have for the Google modular phone. If you want us to check out any rumors, let us know in the comments below.
And subscribe if you're new.